From Daniel Studios in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's the Dennis Daniel Show. Tonight's guest, voice actress Brenda Crichlow, and your announcer, me, Belldandy. And now, here's your host. He is Cincinnati's next big radio personality, Mr. Dennis Daniel.
Fillies and gentlecoats, ponies big and small, Blog Talk Radio welcomes you all. With the moon rising high, to prime time we go, to a special edition of The Dennis Daniel Show. Who am I, you may ask? Just who could I be? It's just me, it's the good old double D, Dennis Daniel. Why am I rhyming? Why all of this shtick? To bring you a guest from Friendship is Magic. But before we continue, before we go on, I must remind you this installment is brought to you by Cutie Mark Con. It's the first convention for fans of MLP, and it's May 31st through June 2nd in Cincinnati. For more information on what's going on, visit www.cutiemarkcon.com. And all of this rhyming is giving me stress, so how about I just cut to telling you the guest? People are asking, they all want to know. Tonight, we welcome none other than voice actress Brenda Crichlow. Ugh, I got a headache. This rhyming thing's giving me such a massive headache. But so we're gonna cut it. This ain't no Dr. Seuss reading, so let's get right into this. For those of you who don't know, Brenda Crichlow is best known as the mysterious, magical, and limerickal Zecora the Zebra from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And she's coming to Cincinnati May 31st through June 2nd for Cutie Mark Con. And of course, you can find more information at www.cutiemarkcon.com. Why is Zecora such a beloved character on My Little Pony? I mean, sure, she's an evil enchantress who does evil dances, and I hear if you look into her eyes, she'll put you in trances. And then you know what she'll do? I heard she'll mix up an evil brew, and then she'll gobble you up in a big tasty stew. So they said that you should watch out. See what I did there? But Zecora is one unique pony. In fact, she's not even a pony. She's a zebra. She has stripes. I'm pretty sure. She's like the fruit stripe guy. You know, the guy on the gum packet? Yeah. But anyway, before we get into the interview, I thought it would be appropriate to show you guys why Zecora is a mysterious and magical zebra. So here's a quick look at some of Zecora's finest from the first 3 seasons.
Oh, monster of so little size, is that a parasprite before my eyes?
I don't know! Is it?
Tales of crops and harvests consumed. If these creatures are in Ponyville, you're doomed. Follow me, and very soon you'll hear the tale of Nightmare Moon. Listen close, my little dears. I'll tell you where you got your fears. Of Nightmare Night, so dark and scary. Of Nightmare Moon, who makes you wary. Every year, we put on a disguise to save ourselves from her searching eyes. But Nightmare Moon wants just one thing. To gobble up ponies in one quick swing. Hungrily, she soars the sky. If she sees no pony, she passes by. So if she comes and all is clear, Equestria is safe another year.
Miss Zecora, if we wear costumes to hide from Nightmare Moon so she won't gobble us up, how come we still need to give her some of our candy?
A perfect question, my little friend. For Nightmare Moon, you must not offend. Fill up her belly with a treat or two, so she won't return to come eat you! Your tale of woe upsets me so. No wonder you're dour. It's an abuse of power.
I don't know what to do, Zecora. I feel like I've abandoned my friends, but I can't take her on horn to horn.
If you train with me, so good you'll be, I'll show you the way to make sure she won't stay.
You'll train me in magic? But she was doing age spells, weather spells, you name it.
When it comes to magic, it would be tragic if some pony licked me, especially Trixie.
You really think I can beat her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when do we start?
So as you can see, Zecora has a lot of magical ability, and she's magic smart. Not book smart or street smart, but magic smart. Well, maybe she is book smart because she can rhyme. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get right into this. I'm excited. You know, a primetime edition of the program means it's going to be a good one. My guest tonight is a very popular voice actress, best known as Zecora the Zebra from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, which you can catch weekends on the Hub. She's going to be coming to Cincinnati May 31st through June 2nd for Cutie Mark Con. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give it up for the one, the only Miss Brenda Crichlow!
I got a black magic woman that
Miss Crichlow, thank you, and welcome to the Dennis Daniels Show.
Well, thank you so much. What a fabulous, tremendous welcome. Thank you.
Starting to rhyme there. No more rhyme. Oh, I thought this show would be full of rhyming, but I got a headache.
Oh, you know what? You're amazing. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I was having a little giggle there. You're incredible. If you sat down and took the time to put the pen to the page and come up with that intro, that was amazing.
Oh, stop it, you.
No, I'm serious. It's a tough thing to do. I'm lucky I have writers that help me with that.
Yeah, but I gotta say, you know, it's really cool to have you on, you know, to promote not only the show, which, you know, after just, you know, explosive third season, you know, there's rumors that season 4 is coming around the corner, and I think one of the coolest episodes from season 3 was, of course, Magic Duel, which, of course, Zecora makes an appearance in, but we'll talk more about Zecora later on in the program. So, what got you interested in acting?
Whoa, wow, that's a loaded question. Where should I start? I guess my family, my parents got my sister and I involved from when we were kids in dance, so we started with that. We did tap, jazz, baton, ballet, then we went into piano, and then once I got into high school, I took every drama class I could, but of course I had to keep up the academics, so did that then. And then once I graduated, I was very much interested in trying to find a school of the arts, and I had a great mentor, which was my drama teacher, and I just thought at that time Fame was the big show that was on, and I thought, I want to go there. I want to go to New York and go to the Juilliard or so, and you know, my parents really could not afford to send me there at that time. And they said, well, why don't you do some research and see what you could find here? So I asked my drama teacher, and he recommended Studio 58 Theater Arts, which is a 3-year diploma program here in Vancouver, British Columbia. And as I graduated, I went and found out what the requirements were and did first-year university upstairs in the college first, and then auditioned, got accepted, and began a 3-year sort of a career. And later on, I went to university. I went to Simon Fraser University and did some arts and social sciences and psychology and things like that. But film and television was just getting started here in BC at that time. So while I was still in school, towards it's like a 6-term program, so 3 years. So towards the end, you know, you're able to take time off and, you know, sort of do other things during a term. And as I said, film and television was just blossoming here. So shows like, and I date myself, as I say this, but that's okay. It was a good time. Shows like 21 Jump Street, MacGyver, feature films like Look Who's Talking. I don't know. I could go on with a whole bunch of other ones, but all those shows were starting here, and so it was a natural course from being in theater to audition for film. Completely different medium, mind you, but the idea behind the theater training that I had allowed me to look at 2 pages of side as opposed to a whole 3-act play, and put some of my technical training, my skills to use, and, why not audition? So I got lucky and started to land some guest stars on some of these shows, and I loved it. I still have a strong love for theater that will never change, but at that time it was like something that was just taking off like a runaway train here, and we were just getting studios built and crews, and it was a very exciting time. And that sort of branched off as well to other things like commercials. So you have film and television auditioning, and then you have commercials that are also being shot here. And again, the only difference between film and television and then commercials is film and television is about your emotion, and commercials is about personality. You're representing every woman or every man, and they're looking for real people having real experiences, if that makes any sense. So you sort of leapfrog into commercial auditioning as well, and then all of a sudden, there's an opportunity to do some radio work or radio plays, and look at that, there's a cartoon you could audition for. So you start developing, and being an all-around, having to work on voice and things like that in theater, it was kind of a natural progression to use that instrument as well. Does that make sense?
That makes plenty of sense. It seems like you've had a very diverse, education, and even just starting out, it sounds like you had a very diverse set of experience that you've done. Radio plays, the high school, it just sounds like it's been a really cool experience, especially that Studio 58.
Yeah, my parents were very, into it and encouraged us. And, I thank my lucky stars because later on in life I opened up a studio and taught for almost 10 years before I had my kids. And, I came across quite a few students in a mentoring program that I started that did not have that sort of familial support. And I think that's a big thing. If you have family behind you, they encouraged me to always have something to, as my mom said once, have something to fall back on. I said, Mom, that implies that I'm going to fail, so I will have something to fall forward on. So they encouraged us to make sure we always had our academics up there and make sure the marks were good and, not let that sort of slide and just keep up with the education part of it. So, this industry is a very tough industry. And while my parents were, very encouraging, they were very realistic as well. So I have them to thank for making sure that, I tried as hard as I could to pay attention to other avenues and not just solely rely on just one thing, because you need to be, I think, in order to succeed, be able to be diverse and flexible. You don't limit yourself that way. So that's my thought. Now stick and do it.
Well, sounds like some great advice for some of our audience out there who want to pursue their career in voice acting, just like you. But we'll talk more about that later on in the program. BlogTalkRadio.com. This is the Dennis Daniels Show. We've got voice actress Brenda Crichlow on the air, best known as Zecora the Zebra from My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. And you can catch her in Cincinnati, Ohio, May 31st through June 2nd for Cutie Mark Con. So, of course, outside of the voice acting scene, you've worked in television as a minor character for such shows like MacGyver, 21 Jump Street, and The X-Files. What is it like getting to work on so many different series, even if it's just a small part?
Oh, well, sure. For most actors, there really are no small parts. It's what you can do with that part. So I'll say I feel blessed that I've been able to audition and have a successful career and get that part. I mean, the parts are varied. So sometimes you're going in as a doctor or what do I get hired for sometimes? I get hired as reporters, so sometimes it's just a few lines to come in as a news anchor or an on-scene reporter covering some big event or what have you. What's it like? It means you have script, you have homework. It means that even if you have 2 lines in a show or 10 lines in a show, you can still go home and spend a few moments on it and then go to the audition room and really mess it up because sometimes having a few lines, you get nervous and you try to make a meal out of it, and the next thing you know, you trip over it. Or sometimes those are the easy ones and you just go and you can do it in your sleep. It's just kind of depends, where you're at on any given day. But having the opportunity to actually land a role and then go on for a day on set, every day is different. Every crew is different. Sometimes you work a lot with the same people over the years, but the composition of the crew is fluid, so it will change. And you get to work with many different directors. Sometimes you'll also work with some directors you've worked in the past. And I think that's also fantastic that, they may remember you from something you did that was really tiny, and now they're bringing you in for a lead or a supporting lead. So it's like, oh, great, you get an opportunity. And same with casting. It's a team effort to bring you the entertainment, the finished product. The post part of getting it, the pre-production of getting it all started, right through to post, it's huge. There's so many levels. And as I said, you get your script from your agent, and then you're going to now go and meet with the casting director who's perhaps also called you in if they remember you from something, or, you've been submitted because your agent thinks that you'd be perfect for this part. So you have to go in and represent all time. So my job, as soon as I get that script, no matter how big or how small the part is to take it, do some script breakdown and analysis on it, and have it in my head, so learn it as well, but make sure I know what that character wants, what's the motivation, what maybe are some of the obstacles, make sure I know my choreography as I'm going in. Am I sitting? Am I standing? Do I need any kind of a prop, and a tiny one at that, because film and television, you don't want to come in with anything too big. So you do your homework on it before you even get into the room, and then, as I said, away you go. You've got competition with 5, 10, 15, 20 other actors that may look just like you, or they may be there may be a complete range in age and look. So it could be anybody's guess, right? Yeah. So it kind of can be a bit of a crapshoot when you're going in, but you try to go in and do the best possible job, but also maybe bring a little something to the part that maybe somebody else isn't going to do. So to make yourself stand out just a little bit, but still stay on that continuum, so that you're not too far off the mark, but maybe you've brought in something that somebody else didn't think of, and they'll go, oh, I'll remember her. And then that's it. The rest you got to leave. You got to leave it up to the directors and producers and see what happens.
It seems like you found the thing that they're looking for, because you've gotten to work on some incredible shows like, of course, we're talking about MacGyver. Did you ever figure out how he was able to get out of all those situations with like a wad of gum and a paper clip?
Well, that therein lies the magic, hey? If we knew that, then MacGyver wouldn't be around. So, we're not supposed to know all the little bits. He kind of gives hints as to how he does it. But who thinks that fast in a situation? I mean, gosh, most of us go, oh my God, and have a freezing moment. But he's like, So we should all be so lucky to have some of that skill set and a little bit of that magic to get us out of some really sticky situations. That's for sure. That was at the beginning of my career. When you kind of look at the span, there have been some really interesting ones that I've had the pleasure of working on. Some of them have been horror movies.
I've got your IMDb page pulled up here, and you've worked on
do you?
We've got 21 Jump Street. We got the X-Files.
Yeah, that goes back like to the 80s or something like that. Bring it up to the present. You're making me feel like an antiquated piece of wood here.
All right. Fast forward. Oh, we went too far. Let's rewind it back. Of course, outside of television, you've also been in several movies like Elf with Will Ferrell, The Fantastic Four, and last year
I could tell you a little bit about that.
Well, tell us. Go ahead and tell us.
Okay, well, Elf, I was actually crew. So for about the 6 weeks of Vancouver portion of shooting, I was the coach for the 12-year-old lead boy on that show. That was Daniel Tate. So I got lucky. The director, Jon Favreau, actually has a cameo in that movie. So if you watch it again, you'll see him playing, I think, the doctor, the dentist in the show when Will Ferrell goes there with his dad. And so I came on to coach, really, but he offered me a little cameo. So it's one of the tiniest parts. You'll see me when Will Ferrell goes to work and is dressed in a trench coat, just like his dad. And as he comes around a corner, he says, "Good morning, Sarah. Very nice dress. Very purpley." And I say, "Oh, thank you. Good morning." So it's a quick flash. You'll barely see me. You'll see me one other time, I think, when Mr. Finch is coming. And that's sort of the cantankerous writer fellow that, for anybody who hasn't watched the show, you'll know when Mr. Finch is coming. So I had a small little blurb in that. But as I said, I came on board as crew. And that's something else that I do sometimes. I'm an on-set dialogue coach, so I work with the director and/or the producers to bring out the best possible performance from the actors. So, yeah.
Well, it's got to be cool to have your credit in Elf down here in the U.S. on a USA Network where they air it every Christmas for 3 nights in a row. So that's 3 times that we can catch you in it.
Oh, it was a fun show to make. Everybody on that show was fabulous. I have nothing but respect for Will Ferrell. He was gracious, and I've worked with some big-name stars. And I will definitely say that there have been 3, 4, 5 that stand out to me as just down-to-earth, hardworking actors, and it made for a pleasurable experience on the set. And you could just feel the energy as we were putting it together that this could potentially be a hit. You're just doing your stuff day to day. You never know how it's all going to come out in post-production, but it felt really good, and it was just a pleasure to, as I said, to have the opportunity to meet him.
He must be very nice. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in all these awesome movies.
No, he's like every guy. He's every man. He's just, "Hi, how are you? Okay, well, let's do this." And, same with Harrison Ford. I worked with Harrison Ford on Firewall. And my first moments on set, "Hi, I'm Harrison. Nice to meet you. Can you see the monitor? Here, come on over here." He put a hand on me. I was like, "Oh, my God, that's Harrison Ford." Inside you're kind of trying not to, I get starstruck the same. So I'm like, "Oh, my God, I remember Indiana Jones and blah, blah, blah." Oh. I'm like, "Hi." And you're just in the scene, and he is just every guy. The crew loved him. There was no attitude. There's just a sense of, I'm here to do a job, and I'm just a regular Joe. And I will tell you how phenomenal that is in an industry where, I don't know, I think you need to have a good attitude with everybody. It's a big group of people in a very small enclosed space who are all there the same amount of hours trying. It's not just the actor, but they're all trying for the common good to get this show made. So when you meet somebody who's gracious, it's great. And I try and aspire to that every day in my own life too.
Well, hey, words to live by. I try to be myself. Even I can't help but get starstruck. And if it had been me in that scenario with Harrison Ford, I probably would have gone, did you shoot first? It's a Star Wars joke there.
Well, I just got very quiet and, just kind of smiled a lot, and then I kind of exhaled, and then, you just come on to do a job as well. I mean, I landed the role, I auditioned for it just like everybody else, and somewhere down the road, your confidence does come back, and as I said, you meet each other halfway. He's present in the scene, he's there to work with you, work off you. So somewhere there, your technical training takes over, and the nerves start to quiet down just a little bit. But I will not deny there was not a bundle of nerves at the beginning. It was like, oh. And the fact that he was so lovely was also just, like I said, just such a treat. And I just try and remember that myself. I have a phrase that I'll share with everybody, and I think it will help you in any situation. I do not know who wrote this, but I heard it years ago, and I wrote it down, and then somehow it just kind of stuck in my brain. And every situation I try to remember it. And I'm not saying that, you can't get mad or anything like that. I'm just saying, well, listen to the phrase first. I'll just tell you. It goes something like, always endeavor to come from a place of grace, integrity, and respect, because that way you can speak your truth and make no apology. So, what does that mean? Well, just that. In every instance, whoever you're meeting, always try to be gracious. Remember, my integrity is very important. I stand by my word, especially when I ran a studio. It was very important for me to have a good name that's out there, and try to respect your fellow person. And the phrase for me means when you speak your truth and make no apology. This is my truth, and you might not like what I have to say, but if it's coupled with all the other things, being gracious and having that integrity, and having that respect for your fellow man, then there should not be a problem. It'll be very clear, and we'll move on to the next thing. And I saw that with Harrison Ford when he had a whole swarm of people. We were filming at the airport, and a plane disembarked, and everybody, we were doing French hours, so that means there's a whole lot of food that's provided, hot and cold, all day long, so that they don't have to stop to have a meal. And there's always something there for you to eat. Well, we were separated by the masses, by everybody who was coming off their flights, by a table and a cord. And everybody came right by the table. Harrison Ford. There's a huge buzz. Can I get your autograph? He walked over, and he just said, hi. Well, hello. And, unfortunately, I can't. If I do, then I would have to give everybody an autograph. So I'm in the middle of working, so I'm very sorry, but thank you very much for coming to say hello. And they walked away with the biggest smile on their face because he had stopped and acknowledged them. And I just thought, wow, look at that. He could have very well have just said no or just not said anything and moved away, but he acknowledged them and just spoke his truth, and there you go.
And that's why Harrison Ford is such a class act. It's just many guys nowadays, you go up to them, you got the paparazzi shooting all their private moments. You got TMZ bugging them. We have some random guy on the street asking for an autograph. They could push him aside, say, get out of my face. But Harrison Ford, he'll just, it just seems like he'd be a really nice guy about it. And just, if he could give you one, he'd give you one. If he couldn't, he wouldn't, but he'd say, thank you for taking an interest in me. That seems like he's a real class act. Class act.
And as I said, it echoes what I just said about that little phrase that I found. He just completely embodied that. And, I've met many other celebrities along the way who also the same, Jeannie Francis, Ted McGinley, a show I just did with them. Lovely. So there are many stars that are like that. The odd few that I choose not to name, but I will say there have been the odd few in the industry that, who knows what's going on in their personal life, but, it reflects poorly on them, and unfortunately sometimes, the shows don't soar because of that. Nobody wants to work with that, so it's very important in this industry to remember that amongst all the other parts of the pie.
Yeah, I bet if you remember that incident with Christian Bale a couple of years ago when he just tore into that guy on the set, and it's just, ooh, right. Ooh, it was not a fun day to be on that set.
No, and again, you'll have to look at the whole situation and find out, well, okay, what motivated that? Is that a habit? What was the background for that? All I'll say, there's a whole bunch of factors, I'm sure, but bottom line, it was unnecessary.
But you would say that you've worked with more guys like Harrison Ford than you would the bad acting people, right?
Sure. Absolutely. The nice thing about the industry is that some of those people are few and far between that pop in, and unfortunately for them, they also don't have a long shelf life. So the few that I have worked with that had, unfortunately, a really bad attitude or a sense of entitlement, and they didn't speak kindly to the crew, don't know where they are right about now. And, I've also done my little research and gone on IMDb and said, I wonder what happened to, and you don't see them. So eventually some fade off into Never Never Land, or sometimes they were just going through a really bad time and they've managed to clean themselves up somehow. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I say.
Yeah. Hey, you reap what you sow. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you gotta take the good ones over the bad. Well, you gotta take the good with the bad. You take them both, and then you had that.
Yeah, I'm there to do a job, so for the most part, you go in as a professional and try and remember all the things that I said earlier, which is to, as long as my homework is done and I'm prepared to the best of my ability, so once I'm on set, I'm able to take direction from my director and also, of course, from camera. That's your next camera and sound. Those are the other people that you work closest with. Of course, your hair and makeup team too, and your props, of course. I mean, I could go on, but there's a small group that are around you trying to make this production. So yeah, as long as I'm prepared, you can kind of block everything else out and kind of have a little raised eyebrow off to the side. But like I said, for the most part, over the course of my 25-odd years in the industry, I'd have to say most of those incidences are rare.
Yeah, but still, you hate to get guys like that when you're working really hard on a product, and it just seems like it would ruin it. So I got a little limerick for stuff like that. If people on the show make your time tragic, there's nothing will fix it quicker than a little black magic.
There you go.
Yeah. BlogTalkRadio.com. This is the Dennis Daniels Show. We've got voice actress Brenda Crichlow on the air, best known as Zecora the Zebra from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. And you can catch her in Cincinnati, May 31st through June 2nd for Cutie Mark Con. And now we're going to get into possibly the best part of this interview. One of your best-known current roles is Zecora the Zebra from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. What was it like playing her on the series, and what do you like most about her character?
Oh, wow, where should I start? I think what I like most is the fact that, I guess I like the fact that she's wise, and she's also, one of the phrases I said in the first episode was, maybe you'll take a second look and not judge the cover of the book. I like that. That resonated within me like no tomorrow because, I'm a woman of color, and, you have to sometimes take a close look to see and know who I am as a person and not just take a first glance and make a judgment. So I like that. I like where the character sits within me. When we auditioned for it, we had to find the voice. And for voice actors, let's just say it, generally speaking, your voice is your voice. My speaking voice is what you're hearing now. I have at my fingertips the ability to change that and create a character that's younger, that speaks way up here, that's higher, that's faster, that has a different kind of an accent, whatnot. What was lovely about Zecora is that she's rooted deep, and it resonates deep within my chest when I get to play her. It's dropped. I take a big breath. And it's that sort of that smoky side. So I'll take a moment now. And it's taking the breath And then, of course, now it's playing with part of my roots, my history. I'm half Jamaican, half Trinidadian. So they wanted sort of a African, kind of a West Indian. First it was originally Cajun. She kind of metamorphosed when I was doing the audition. So we played around a little bit of where the character's accent would be, where the voice would sit within the register. And before you knew it, it was getting more earthy, a little lower, very mysterious, very powerful. And, you know, we played a lot with, as I said, the accent, and, you know, I gave them sort of that, what did you say? we can't understand that. It sounds like Rasta talk. No, that's too much for her. Come back a little bit. Okay. So, you know, try again. Good. We like where that sits. That sounds good. And then we just laid it down, and lots of people auditioned for the part, and I got it. So that was another little like woohoo. So she's fun to play as well because of the writers are fantastic on the show and give me so much material to work with. So I get to just soar with her, and our director as well, Terry, is just phenomenal. Just, okay, pull it back. Okay, here we go. Try this one. No, let it rip. Stand back from the microphone and let it rip. So there's a whole bunch of things that make the character fun to play. And I'm the only one on the show, actually, that's got, out of the females anyway, that has that kind of a low register play. So I'm thrilled. And just being me, too, it's always been more difficult for me. All of us as voice actors have our strengths, and it's a little bit more difficult for me to play a 10-year-old character, so to speak, or 12 or 15, because my voice has always had a little bit more of a husky, smoky timbre, and it just sits a little lower. And as, you know, first thing in the morning, sometimes it's a little low, and as the day progresses, it changes. So, you know, trying to match stuff, it was nice to be able to play within a register that I could get into and relate to. Working it sometimes with some of the other ones is like, oh, that didn't sound like a 15-year-old, you know, dragon or what have you. That sounded a little off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The one thing that I've learned talking to the My Little Pony voice actors and actresses, you never, ever, ever, ever want to get into a little kid voice off with Kathy Westlock. I've learned that lesson. Oh, she's good.
Kathy's the bomb. She's got that one covered. She sits to my left in studio, as I said, when we're there for those ensemble days, and she's phenomenal. She makes a great Spike, and I know a host of characters that she plays over the years, and she's outstanding. And same with Andrea and Tabitha. We've got women on this show that, as I said, they know their strengths and are aware of their gifts. So it's not about ego, it's about working with what you've got. We've all been given something, right? Or a little something, as I like to say. Remember that, little something. We've all been given something special. So we try to pull out whatever you can and then just play. So I'll say that to any voice actor, aspiring voice actor that's out there, put a name to your characters and play with your register, play with your voice to see what you can come up with, and you'll soon discover what comes really easy and, what you have to work a little harder for. And every voice actor that you will talk to will say, oh, I find that a little bit challenging, but these are the ones that I'm really good at. And the neat thing about it is when you're listening to, I have a whole bunch of accents that I can do, but you're not seeing the person, so you have to just listen. So it's a neat medium as well to work with that as well.
When I first heard Zecora in season 1 of My Little Pony, I thought, oh, wow, she sounds like that, really? And now I know, no, she doesn't. So, I've not been fooled by another fake Jamaican accent, just like Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, a little West Indian and a little African. It's, that... Oh, I'm just trying to think of a line or something I could say, but where it sits, somewhere like so, that is what it is. If you can think, I'm not even going to try to rhyme right now. I don't think anything is going to come to me.
No, it's totally cool.
You get the idea of where the emphasis is on the thing. It's a great character to play. She's hilarious. And I had no idea there was this huge following until I did my very first interview not that long ago and was just I was just awestruck with, I've had my head, in the sand. I've just had, I have a son who's 9 months. Oh, excuse me, he just turned 10 months, and a 4-year-old daughter. And I just go to work like everybody else. I had no idea that Zecora was being received so well. So I'm, like I said, I'm still in awe and thrilled, and I've met some of the most amazing people. Amazing. I'm going to give a shout out to the Bronies right now and just say, y'all are just incredible. Thank you for your support.
Bronies, yeah!
Bronies, yay!
Hey, Bronies, they powered the show for the last couple episodes. Yay!
Yay! Well, they're talented. I've met some very gifted artists, intelligent, and just as I said, with some real amazing techno savvy. I'm just so not technically inclined, and seeing what they can make in terms of art and just design, unbelievable. I wouldn't know the first thing as to how to create and reproduce some of the artwork that I've had the pleasure of seeing. So I give a huge shout out and kudos just to some of the people I've had the pleasure of meeting in LA and Vegas. I'll just say, wow, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta say, hey, it doesn't matter if you can't do any of that artsy stuff. You provide the medium that inspires these people to create all kinds of great artwork, great music, great stories. They've got all this great stuff just for Zecora. It's great. Some of it's a little creepy, but, it's still amazing that, the Pony universe has got just such a big fan base. And I'm going to say that this universe even rivals, the Pokemon universe. And that's been around for almost 20 years. So
how do you know that? How is that measured? Where do you come up with that? Like, this is what blew me away. Until I attended the convention, I had no idea that there was that many people. 1,000 people, 2,000 people came. I would not have known that this network existed. So how do you do that count, or how do you find those stats?
Brenda, if I told you everything that existed in the Brony universe, we would be here all night. I mean,
really?
You've got people who do flash animations of the ponies. You've got people on DeviantArt who do vectors of the characters.
I've been on DeviantArt. Yes, I have. I've seen some of the incredible drawings.
You've got dedicated websites like EquestriaDaily.com who feature all kinds of posts and news about what's going on in the My Little Pony universe. You've got podcasts, of course, like Ponyville, Everfree Radio, the Dennis Daniels Show.
Everfree, yes.
Hint, hint. Well, hint on mine.
Yes.
But yes.
Yes. I got it.
I used to think, and this for a long time, that Hulkamania was the strongest force in the universe. And then I see these bronies, I see these guys, they dress up as their characters, they do unique concepts for the characters. We've seen creepy versions, we've seen human versions, we've seen...
I've even seen Zecora pregnant.
Yeah.
I saw one of her pregnant. I don't know if anybody knew at the time that I was pregnant, but I saw one of her pregnant. So I've seen all sorts. But, I'll stick with the light and furry kind there. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's keep this, keep it to where the show's going. We can't divulge off the path.
Let's keep it clean.
It's just keep it clean. Don't make it obscene.
Keep it clean.
Yes, but... bronies have just taken so much out of such little show, and it's no wonder that you guys are being asked to jet around the country to these various conventions, and you see attendances of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000.
Well, they are what's making the show. I have to thank the fans. That is it, period. If no one was listening, we wouldn't have a show. So the fact that we have this incredible support, and, everybody has their opinions too, and it's like, okay, give it a chance. Yes, I'm thrilled to have an opportunity to meet with the fans. And as I said, it makes our work come from a completely different place, knowing that we're on a hit show and we've got people listening. So while, yes, I come in and try and do the best possible job that I can, there's a little part of me that knows that, okay, but clarity and what it is that I'm saying, somebody is listening to. Somebody somewhere is really listening. And that makes all the difference in the world. There's been lots of projects that, you work on, and be it a radio spot or something like that, and okay, it's the fly-by-night thing. You don't know, is anybody really hanging on to that spoken word? But the fact that, as I said, the opinions are out there, the support is out there. I have only the Brony community and everybody else to say thank you to, in all sorts of ways. So I'll just give a little sugar when I get an opportunity to come to where you live and say hello and meet and greet with everybody. Yeah, it'll be good.
That's a great tangent right there. But before we get into that tangent, blogtalkradio.com, this is the Dennis Daniels Show. We've got voice actress Brenda Crichlow on the air, best known as Zecora the Zebra from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. And you can catch her in Cincinnati, Ohio, May 31st through June 2nd for Cutie Mark Con. Now, into that tangent I was aforementioning too. You're coming to Cincinnati May 31st through June 2nd for Cutie Mark Con. And for those of you who don't know, which we've been saying this 1,000 times on this program, Cutie Mark Con is Cincinnati's first My Little Pony convention, May 31st through June 2nd at the Crown Plaza, Cincinnati North, just outside of Cocoa Keys. Visit cutiemark.com for more information after the show, of course. So are you getting excited? Are you getting ready for such an incredible convention? From what I've seen, they've just announced a new concept. What happens when you take the characters from My Little Pony and throw them in the always entertaining sport of professional wrestling? We're going to find out Friday night with Wrestling is Magic. But like I said, are you excited? Are you ready for this convention? What can we expect?
Oh, I have no idea. I have never been to Cincinnati, Ohio, so maybe you can tell me.
Let's see, Cincinnati. Let's see, Cincinnati. Well, we've got awesome tartar sauce. Freshest.
Really?
There's more. Oh boy. May I think that's when the.
Do you like how I turned the tables on you? Do you like how I did that? I put you in the hot seat.
Yeah, that's...
You tell me what's so great about your city. I'm going to come and hopefully get a chance to see just a teeny weeny bit. But I turned the tables on you just to say I've never been, so I have no idea what to expect. I'm hoping you have a huge turnout, so I get a chance to meet everybody. So come on down if you're out and about. I'd love to hear. And hear the stories, too.
Cutie Mark Con is a convention run by My Little Pony fans for My Little Pony fans. I know the guys who are running this convention, and they are some of the most crackpot and some of the most magnificent people that you could ever meet, and they put a lot of time and a lot of energy into this convention. They've got some really great guests besides you coming. Andrea Libman, Matt Hill, Marika Hendricks, Peter New, Sam Vincent. They got Rena Chan from the Pony.move series.
Great people. So yes, I can attest to that.
Yes. It will truly be a weekend of obscure rhyming schemes. I'm sorry.
Among other things.
I'm sorry.
Among other things.
Yes, definitely. I've actually never been to a pony convention. I've been to anime conventions, but never a pony convention. So what is it like? I mean, it's got to be ginormous.
What's it like?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Turn the tables on you now.
What's it like? Well, there are a couple of forums. So sometimes we're on a panel just like this, but you have us in person. So you have an opportunity we have a host. So somebody asks some questions and stuff, and then it's opened up to the audience. And everybody lines up and has an opportunity over a little bit of a time frame there to ask something about, we can never speak too much about the show, any particulars about the show because it's confidential, but, little bits. Sometimes people have some comments or some thoughts or so. And I guess then we have an autograph session as well, which is also kind of fun because then, I actually get to be pretty well up close and personal with all the fans. So we get 2 minutes to, talk or chat and sign something and maybe take a picture. And that's when I get to hear all the stories. So where are you from? Well, I'm actually military. Where are you from? I'm with the Air Force. Where are you from? Oh, I'm an artist and I've worked with da-da-da-da-da. You just meet a myriad, an array of people.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really good time. And again, that's Cutie Mark Con, May 31st through June 2nd. And of course, if you want more information, if you want to go ahead and register, head over to cutiemarkcon.com. And because you want to go because you want to see this lady. She's awesome.
You're sweet. I'm going to give you a big virtual hug.
Yeah, virtual
and
hug.
And a kiss. Thank you.
Aw. Oh, beats a curse, because that'd be worse. Oh, God. Damn it. I'm doing it again. Oh, gosh.
But do come and see. It'll be so nice to meet you. Yes. Do. I hope we have lots of people come.
Gosh, I love that.
And somebody can write a rhyme for me. There you go. Put it out there. Somebody can write a rhyme, and I'll get an opportunity to say it there. You never know. You never know.
I might have to write something for you then.
Sure.
We'll be tough, but we'll get it done.
Sure. Put a shout out to some of the fans. See if they come up with a couple things too, and we'll give somebody some credit there. You never know. That'd be great.
Well, maybe we can get some of our listeners out there right now to give us some cool rhymes. We're going to go ahead and take some listener questions, and we're going to go ahead and open up the shrimp line. So our first listener question is from Cedric Smith. What's it like working with a cast? I know you talked about it a little bit, in the beginning, but can you tell us a little bit more about working with the cast?
What's it like working with the cast?
Yeah.
In any given day, there may be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us, I guess, around a mic or so. You've got those who are sort of the series regulars on the show, so they're there, every day. Then there are those of us who pop in and have, a day or two back to back. That's the first thing. So off I pop. I'm in the same spot every time, which is right beside Kathy Westlock. So when we start our session, there's a whole lot of chitter-chat going around. How are you? What's going on? Tabitha always has cookies or, I don't know, sometimes she's had like banana bread or something. She's the mother of everybody. She always has something good to eat, and she also has some tarot cards sometimes. And, Kathy and I sort of write over each other's scripts. But when we start, there's a lot of goofing off in between, and then as the recording starts, there's not a pin drop. It's silent. We may be looking at each other and making googly eyes, but for the most part, there's, out of respect for the fact that we do have a job to do, there's just absolute silence. And we've got our headset on, and you're sort of ready to go for line 1, and then you know that you're coming up on line 5 or page 3, line number 27. So you may be just waiting to come up for it, and then you're listening for direction. And as I said, there's accents and improvisation sometimes that's flying across the room. It's voice actors just seem to have a pickle trunk full of ridiculousness. That's the best way. Sometimes it's like being in a tennis match, because on the other side of the room, two people may be going at it with saying something, and all of a sudden it becomes a bunch of Scottish people or Irish people saying, "Are you related to the girl in the corner?" "No, I'm not." And recording episode 107, page 7, and there's silence. And so they're right in the middle of something, and it stops, and we go right back to work. So it's a fun place to be. And as I said, you can come to work dressed any way you like. Nobody can see you. For the most part, I haven't really seen anybody show up in their pajamas. But you come in your comfy clothes, and if you're coming in a pair of high-heeled shoes, usually they're kicked off, and you've got your chair, you've got your water, and you have your script, and away you go.
Man, you had me at banana bread.
Yeah, yes, we do during break, so it's great. Man. And the other thing too, besides the food, there's always a sense of you get a chance to watch some true artists at work. So as I said, each voice actor has their own special talent, and they also have their own special challenge with their script. So sometimes somebody has to do a lot of falling through the trees or something, and there's a lot of and then that's lots of vocalization and a lot of screams or all day long, and you have empathy for them, and then sometimes you're just laughing and cracking up because you're busting a gut. They've come up with something funny on take 2 or 3, and you kind of feel like, okay, that was good, you nailed it. and you're in awe because, you don't realize that they're thinking the same thing when you are working through your stuff too, that they're admiring, oh, neat, you found something. But it's a work in progress, so it's neat to see something off the page come to life. And that's our jobs. So yeah, it's neat to see choices and stuff that I wouldn't even have thought of to do. So you learn something too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. If I had half the talent you guys had, I'd probably go, holy crap, I got to have the talent the voice actors do.
Sure.
But
sure.
to be
it's
a
just
fly.
playing. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, but to be a fly on the wall at one of these voice acting sessions. Ooh, I would just love to see that and just to see how that would go. It just seems like, oh my gosh, these guys have a blast. They get to do what they love. They love what they do.
Yeah, we do love what we do, but please remember that, it's hard work some days. And I say that because to get that vocal quality, how can I phrase this? It takes finding it, and it's a lot of oxygen, and it's you don't want to damage your voice. Sometimes you have characters that just have vocalizations all day, or that character has to be in a very loud voice. Don't even think about it, and then say it again. No, shout it a little. Don't even think about it. So you're having to project. You're having to take lots of oxygen and deliver it, and then deliver it again. And it's the repetition sometimes. So there's a lot of care that's involved as well, I think, with trying to maintain that consistency, but also protecting our instrument too.
Yeah, but hey, if voice acting were easy, everyone would do it. That's why it takes only a select few like you and the girls on My Little Pony to do what you do. And I gotta say, you guys do it, and you do it well.
Well, thank you.
And,
thank you.
Our next question is, outside of Zecora, do you have a favorite pony?
Well, Andrea is my little friend's Pinkie Pie. Sometimes is just what cracks me up, and of course, Applejack. But Pinkie Pie is the one that gets me every time. So definitely.
Yeah, I don't know why she's so hyper, but just some of the stuff she does is it's mind blowing.
And she just goes. Andrea just goes, and it's neat to see her just open up and again, look at the difference in voice quality too. Her character sits. I could never do that, no matter how hard I tried. So I'm in awe of watching her work to bring out Pinkie Pie the way she does. So yes, I have to give kudos to Pinkie Pie.
But you also got to give it to her because she does two completely parallel characters. On one side, you've got Pinkie Pie, who's all over the place and
scatterbrained. Yeah.
And on the other side, you have Fluttershy, who's quiet and timid and frightened and
introverted and sweet and the whole bit. So and sometimes that's also a challenge for her. Well, I shouldn't, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but that's where her magic has to work, which is to be able to vocally switch from, where Pinkie Pie sits and then where Fluttershy sits in her register.
Yes, and I'm like, I don't know how she does it. It might be some witchcraft in there, might be some true magic, but
you'd have to be a fly on the wall there, honey.
Oh. Well, maybe I'll get to see some of this magic going at Cutie Mark Con, May 31st through June 2nd at the Crown Plaza, Cincinnati North, just outside of Cocoa Keys. For more information, visit cutiemarkcon.com. Gotta plug it. So, anyway, are there any new shows or projects that you're working on that you can tell us about?
I have one that's coming up. I can't say too much about it right now. I just play the neighbor in it. I just got the full script. It's called Soul Custody. I have not read the whole thing yet. When we do auditions for film and television, they do not always release the full script. It is not always available at the audition. So that has just popped up as of today. I shoot that on the 28th of the month. So yeah, that's all I can tell you at the moment because I have not read the full script. But it's pretty standard in our business. When you go to the audition, you just get maybe the synopsis and then 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 10 pages of sides, depending on the size of the character. And then you just have to go to town and go do your homework and maybe if you're lucky and it's a director-producer session, ask questions, or ask questions of the casting director if it's just you and the casting director and it's being put on tape. So, yeah, I had the director and producer in the room, but they weren't taking any questions. She said, thank you. When I auditioned for a completely different role, come to think of it. So, yeah, that's one of the projects that's upcoming as we speak.
Sole custody. Trying to figure out how that would go. I'm just trying to see. Kind of sounds like one of those child custody Lifetime movies.
Yeah, that's sort of the that's in the synopsis. But I mean, I don't know how my character fits into the whole scheme of things as we speak. I'm also going into the studio for the show for My Little Pony on the 14th, I believe. I better double check. I'm going in. Oh no, pardon me. Coming up. I think it's April. It's April 4th. I'm going into the studio. So coming up.
You can't tell us anything, and it's killing me.
I can't. You see, in order to maintain the integrity of the show, we are all sworn to confidentiality. So you'll just have to wait and see. And yes, and therein lies the magic.
Gosh,
I would love to be able to say more, but we can't.
Gosh, man, I've been getting Sergeant Schultz by all these voice actors.
I see nothing. I know nothing.
And I don't.
Gosh, but from what I've heard on the rumor mill, probably not the best place to go. But season 4, you guys have got a lot of work cut out for you. I mean, we've just seen Twilight Sparkle become Princess Twilight Sparkle. The internet blew up in excitement, and some blew up in rage, which really just gets me like, it's a show. Why are you guys? So, and I don't know if you've seen this, or if any of the other guys have seen this, but this internet, I tell you what, Brenda, this internet is just, it's like a keg of dynamite. And when you mention something as big as Twilight becoming an alicorn, you just want to kick back, get some popcorn, and watch the fireworks, because they just eat this up, and they just like to just blow holes in everything, and it's so funny.
Well, like I said, those are fans. Those are fans. They're allowed to. They're allowed to have an opinion. I kind of like that they do, and I kind of like that they take some of it personally and that they hold it near and dear, because as I said, we would not have a show. To the extent that it's kind of, blowing up like that, that's just, okay, wow. But for the most part, I think it's great that people are so involved with a show that, they're a bit affronted or appalled, like, holy smokes, why is it going in that direction?
Yeah, I remember for the episode Wonderbolt's Academy with Kelly Metzinger, she did Spitfire. People apparently did not like that she was cool and lax in the first season, but when she came back, she was all tough and hardcore. Essentially, you guys got to remember, the episode was a parody of Top Gun. So, they got to have the drill sergeant for that. And who better than the leader of the Wonderbolts? And why am I getting into this stuff? This is, oh, gosh. Why can't more people be mellow like Zecora? Zecora is a badass. She's a badass pony. And you know how she's a badass pony? Because she's not a pony. She's a zebra.
She's a zebra. And originally that character was thought on as a shaman, hey? Did you know that?
Actually, and this is actually kind of cool, because I see a photo of you on IMDb, and I see Zecora with her cloak. She, it's kind of hard not to connect Zecora with Michonne from The Walking Dead. Yeah, come on, you gotta see the connection. You gotta connect the dots. I see it. It's just,
I'll have to take a look.
But because in the season,
but do not judge the cover of the book. Okay, yes.
Gosh,
I'll give you a shout out there.
Yes, I love that. I love the Zecora voice. I love it. It's just so it's so deep and mystic. That's just like, ooh, it's just so cool.
And like I said, I'm thrilled. I'm so thrilled because sometimes, can I go off on a tangent? Am I allowed to go off on a tangent?
Sure, go off a tangent. Go off 50 tangents. Go off a tangerine if you want.
What's that?
I said, go off a tangerine if you want.
Go off a tangerine. Okay, here's my tangerine tangent moment. Okay. When you do, I'm just talking straight voice tags. Here are some samples of some voice tags. see if you understand where I'm going with this. There may be a public service announcement or something where you're saying 1 in 5 women may come down with or may show symptoms of. It's sort of a la 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 sort of a voice, right? Then you may have the more sultry sound where it might be something like the new Ford Explorer with 4-wheel drive. It'll take you and your family where you need to go. Or it might be a face commercial or something. Ivory Snow. A lot of people like ivory or use ivory on their face because they don't want colorings and strange perfumes on their skin. You know, they might want something that's a little more intimate, and especially if it's done with softer music and things like that. Now, the joy for me is that, as I said before, my natural voice sits in that realm. And if sometimes you're told, okay, pull it back, we're getting sort of a bit of too much of a smoky sound, or and with Zecora, I never had that. It was give us more. So it was so lovely to take that part of my speaking voice that's already there. I would love to have a clear, crystal voice, and maybe have a voice that was just up here and just sounded different. And, maybe I sounded, blah, blah, blah. I've done characters like that before, but that's not me. So how wonderful that there's a little bit of me in Zecora, and it just sits in a nice, round, deep spot that just can resonate a little bit of mystery and a little bit of magic. So very cool.
I now want to go out and buy a Ford Explorer. I don't know why. I just want to go buy one. Second,
I might have done a voice tag for Ford or something somewhere on radio. I don't know, but some reason that comes to mind. Ivory Snow. I think I did an actual commercial for Ivory Snow, and that was the direction, which was we will have the camera very close, and the music playing in the back would be something like a Packle bell. So, dun 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 dun. There's like steam. You've just come out of the bath, and it's a face commercial. So they want to see as you're speaking, you're talking about what you put on your face, and they just wanted something that was soft and intimate and right to camera, and almost on a whisper, but not quite. And it was nice to get as a actor, but also in combination with voice, to find that spot to just say, you think you have sensitive skin? Well, I have allergic skin. So it's important for me to use a soap that's pure. And it was nice to just, as I said, find where it resonates and let it rip.
Well, it sounds like you've got a really good niche there, because I too suffer from sensitive skin. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right, I'll stop talking now. I did go off on a little tangerine there.
Totally cool. And second, you gotta use what you're given. And I think that this gift that you have of this awesome, mysterious, dark, deep voice, I think you've just, knocked it out of the park with doing Zecora, because she's a character. She's not like one of these minor background characters, She may not be as big as Derpy, but then again, who is as big as Derpy?
Oh, Derpy. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I had no idea there was this following, and I'm thrilled to bits. And it's been just a wonderful journey meeting and greeting with all the fans from the show. And I've got a great job, so I'm very thankful. Very thankful.
Yeah. Well, our final question is, like I said earlier, we've got an audience of voice actors, theater majors, drama majors, people who want to get their start in the voice acting industry. Aside from the advice you've given us, do you have any more advice that you could possibly share with us for those who, too, want to pursue a career in voice acting?
Sure. I would say maybe a couple of things. Remember that it is a business. So instead of just saying, I want to be, all right, start doing. So what are you going to do to make yourself stand out besides making sure you've taken some training? That's the first thing. You won't get far in this industry without learning a few tricks of the trade. from some of the professionals that are in your area. That's the first thing. And then practicing. You must practice, practice, practice. Why would you not practice? Why would you think that you could go and do the 4x100 and win that gold medal if you never ran a day in your life? Or you only practiced inconsistently? So in order to be good, in order to excel and not be average or mediocre, strive for excellence in everything you do. So the hard part that most people don't enjoy doing is the practice, the training. You've taken some training. Now you have to take what you've learned and sit down and do some of the paperwork, like some of the writing out of stuff. Then you have to vocalize some of that stuff and just keep practicing it. Label it, write it down. If you discover a character, call it a name. Who cares? And the other thing is don't be afraid to be silly. You have to play. All actors are pretty playful and pretty young at heart. We're all pretty serious as well. And the serious part comes in a few ways. It's a business, and it's a business about emotion, and it's a business about being as true as you can to the character. So if you look at it from all of those perspectives, it will come together for you. You have to represent, so you need to be able to have done all this background stuff first, then bring your package to an agent, but do the research on every aspect. So even though you may be going into voice, come and be dressed neatly when you go. Make sure you've got a demo reel, that you've named some of these characters. You've had somebody in a studio that has helped you put that on because you took training, so you've now gone to that particular studio that maybe they suggested, and you've made it as professional as you can. And yes, I realize that money is an option sometimes. Sometimes it can be a bit of a hindrance because sometimes it costs money to take these classes. Then it's going to take money again to go and reproduce on a demo tape. So I always say, beg, borrow, steal. See if there's somebody that you know that can, for a coffee, can give you some advice, trade or something. Sometimes the barter effect works. I'm a teacher as well, so sometimes I'll just say, look, if you want an hour of my time, then, okay, this is my hourly rate, but we can also look at a trade of some kind. So there might be something that you can do for me. Maybe it's you can come into my studio. When I have my studio, you can do some scripts or some filing or something that would be helpful for me for that hour that would be of value. Find a mentor. That's the other thing I was going to say. So remember the business part of everything. Right up to getting yourself there to an actual agent. Make sure you've done the research on this agent so that who and who they have on their roster, and if it's the right agent for you. Make sure you come in armed with some questions as to how they're going to represent you, what some of their expectations are. And as well, along the way, as I said, adopt a mentor. Mentors come into your life sometimes for a short time, not a long time. And some of them do come for a long time. Like I said, one of my mentors was my drama teacher. But sometimes I've got other people along the way that I'll stop in and ask for advice. Andrew is one of them. I've asked her here and there, what is your thought on? What do you think on? And it doesn't matter if they're younger than you, older than you, not even in the same field as you. Somebody may be able to impart a little bit of wisdom that may be helpful in getting you to that next level. The other thing is you have to just remember that it is, after all, a very competitive business. So if you don't do the homework, somebody else will. The other thing to remember is that it's also a little bit of a crapshoot, a little bit of luck. It might be that it wasn't a good day for you when you went in to do that interview. It wasn't a good day for the agency, perhaps, and they just weren't interested and said, come back next time. Be persistent. Be gracious, however, and it may be that you take your package and you resubmit again to that same agency because they said, you didn't really have enough experience, or we're not too, keen on, well, we have somebody just like you. So go someplace else, or maybe if that's the agency that you really wanted to get into, try and take some of that criticism, because this business is all about criticism, turn it into a positive, and see what you can do to make that work in your favor. That's what I will say would be one of the little basic things for success, really. You just have to persevere and not keep your confidence. Know what you're good at, and be okay with getting the critique. Having somebody along for the ride as a mentor would be, I'd say, ideal. I've mentored kids, teens, adults. I'm most known for the teens that I mentored when I had my studio. I gave 14 weeks of on-camera training free, and also a little bit about the business. So I'd have casting directors come in and talk about what it is they do. I had, have the opportunity to go onto a film set, which was Kyle XY, which was North Shore Studios, and meet with the casting directors there and have a tour. And all of this was me saying to the people that I know in my little network, here's a bottle of wine, here's some flowers, thank you very much. I did not necessarily pay for that. That was my way of saying they also need to be able to give back to the community so that we can foster new talent. Know that this industry of voice acting, of film and television, for those who are aspiring and just graduating and getting ready to embark, needs talent. Wherever you are, just know that you may have that unique voice or what have you. So find somebody who can be a role model that can assist you, and there are no stupid questions. If you don't ask, then you don't get the help, and you just won't know. So find somebody that can show you the ropes, but just remember that and be respectful of their time as a professional, whoever that is that you find. And I think that's what I would say to anybody who's graduating. Think of it like a business, and be very serious about it, and make sure you do your workout. It's your instrument. Oh, and the last thing I'll say, I guess, try and be an all-around. Try and be as diverse as possible. Those who seem to succeed in this industry have a whole lot of other things they can pull out of their hat. So sometimes you may be required to sing. You may be required to dance. You may be required to, act. Some people may be stronger at one of those things. It does not hurt at all. I mean, I've had to sing in a few cartoons. I've had to sing on camera. I've had to sing in theatrical productions. I do sing. I'm not a strong singer, but I can sing. I can hold my own. I know what my range is. I know what my strengths and weaknesses are with my own. So I know it's important for me to go get coaching if I need to get it, so that I can master that audition or master that role. So work on trying to be as diverse and as flexible as you can within the industry with whatever your gifts may be. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. Yeah. I have that phrase. I use that as my little inspirational quote when I started my studio. And the only reason why I closed my studio is I had 2 kids. Well, I got married, had 2 kids, and just hours and things like that. But that was something that I found empowered me and allowed for me to have the confidence. And the other thing I'll say, too, is to remember no matter what, whether you get involved in front of the camera or on radio, which is like behind the scenes in some way, you are unique. You are unique. There will always in life be somebody who is taller, skinnier, prettier, have more money than you, have more something or other that you may perceive. Grass is not always greener. You bring what you bring to the table, and you do what you do to the best of your ability. And then the rest, you're going to have to just leave up to the gods. But I tell you what, you will know. It's almost like the space in between the words. You will know when you've made that impression and when you have not. And sometimes, you think you did a crappy job, but your technical training actually held up and somebody saw something and hired you anyway. But there's a moment or two sometimes where you go, you know what? I might not land that job, but to the best of my ability, I brought it. I brought the emotion. I was true to the script. I was respectful of the script. And I was able to lift those words and bring that emotion, whatever it is. And it came from a real truthful and honest place. And that's the best that you can do. And you can walk out of that room at least with your head held high. Oh, I hear applause.
It's just me. That does sound like some pretty solid advice, and it just seems like, you've known a lot, working almost 3 decades in acting and voice acting, and it seems like that is just some advice that some of the younger generation should take to heart. And of course, during all that, I came up with a really great limerick. I got to take the show out on a good limerick. So, if voice acting practice, your time's not consumed. When you go to audition, my friends, you're doomed.
You're doomed? Why would you say you're doomed? Oh no!
Because that's because I was citing the Paris Sprite quote when Zecora just bluntly goes, "You're doomed."
Oh, you're doomed. Okay. The play on the words when I said that about the Paris Sprite. Okay, I get that part. You're doomed.
That was just so blunt.
Yes, you must practice.
That was just so blunt. It's like we're expecting some kind of deep philosophical thing, and then it's like a middle finger from Zecora.
That was my warning, and then you're doomed.
Yeah.
She just sort of said it flat. You're doomed.
Yeah. Yep. Boo-hoo.
Well, anyway,
well.
I hope that'll be helpful for some
yes.
aspiring
Definitely.
Actors and performers. I really do.
Definitely, and I gotta say, Brenda, it's been truly a huge honor to have you on the program and talk to you about your extensive experience in voice acting and acting. And maybe when season 4 finally gets back on the hub, we'll have to have you back on to talk about all the cool things that Zecora is doing now. And truly, this has been a magical interview, if not for the fact that we had the most magical person in all of Ponyville. Hopefully you continue to do that black magic zebra thing that you do.
I will. And you have yourself a really good night. And no, there's no rhyme in there, but you get the sentiment.
Hey, I gotta say, that voice is out of sight. There we
Excellent.
go. There's your rhyme.
Thank you for having me.
Well, until next time, folks, till we see you down the road, this is the Dennis Daniels Show saying, good night, Chachi.